Yeah, I'd just like to say, if I'm in the cell, I need a vent, they call it like a dinner tray vent. I know there's air coming through and I can breathe properly and I don't get stressed, which they've failed to do, put me in cells with them. It's been horrendous on my body. I haven't been able to work since. Like I have flashbacks. Um, I actually I lost my business because I wasn't able to work after 39 years. It's been really hard on me. Anyway, the next time I got arrested was for writing letters and driving down her cul-de-sac, which I was going to put another letter in her letterbox, but she was down the end of the cul-de-sac. I asked her if I could talk to her. She said no. And so I got arrested for that. I've never sworn, and I respect women, so there's no point in, yelling at them, because you always lose. Yeah, I found that out. So I got arrested for that. They picked me up. Henderson police picked me up. And we met another police car at s1e4, and we met to change over. It was pouring rain with rain. This is just for 2 letters I wrote, virtually, for a letter, and for not anything serious. This is all police. 4 police were involved, like 2 taking me to s1e4 and 2 taking me to Papakura, or Manukau. In the changeover, because it was pouring rain, they did the change underneath the bridge, and the policeman reversed back straight into a power pole. And I got out of the car. Since I'm a panel beat, I said, well, there's over $3,000 just for a letter, and me driving down the cul-de-sac. Anyway, they changed, went to Manukau police. This is stupid. 4 police. It'd be right if I was a monster, but I'm not. I'm quite a gentle guy. I'm a strong guy, but I'm gentle. Never. I'm aggressive on the soccer field, but off the field I'm not. So they took me to the Manukau police, as I said. They took all my clothes off to make sure I had no razor blades on me and things like that, I suppose. And then they put me in the cell. I had no clothes on. I got a blankety thing and a bit of another blankety thing as a bed sort of thing. They were more concerned about the razor blades, but they forgot about my claustrophobia. They never opened the vent. And there's a buzzer in the cell. I pressed the buzzer, nothing happened. They're talking, and I can see them talking to each other, playing with pens on the desk, just talking. I was dumbfounded. Here's me hyperventilating, and there's meant to be in camera. And there's a nurse in there writing things down, I think. Well, she must have been, because I knocked on the cell window. Nobody would do anything. So what I did, I'm quite a resourceful person. I'm clever with my hands, and I'm quite smart, if I say so myself. I'm not good with computers, that's my fault, because I haven't really bothered to learn. So I wet some toilet paper, and I put that in my mouth and started sort of chewing on it to help prevent me, from hyperventilating. And I saw at the bottom of the door there was an air gap. So I went down there, and I've got no clothes on, don't forget, and I've got this thing over me. it's so embarrassing, and he was trying to breathe, and I'm hyperventilating. Then this woman, this blonde policewoman walked past, and I banged on the thing, and she walked past, and she walked past again, banged on. I said, "Well, vent," and they opened the vent so I could breathe. But that took like 20 minutes, and I was back, then they bothered to see that to make sure I hadn't raised the place, but didn't bother to make sure I could breathe properly. It's disgusting. Nobody should have to put up with that. Anyway, they got the doctor out again, and they gave me some pill, whatever. And I went to court and pleaded not guilty. But secret, not guilty because I didn't think I was just writing letters. But apparently, you're not meant to write letters if you have a protection order on you. I actually saw the nurse's report when the doctor came, and the nurse's report put Mr. King took all his clothes off and was eating toilet paper. They took all my clothes off. The reason I was chewing on water on the toilet paper was stop me from hyperventilating. Do they just write things down to suit themselves? I don't know. It's disgusting. It angers me. And I haven't abused him. I've just kept my cool. Perhaps if I did, things might have been done. But it's the way I was brought up. Respect authority. And I had to wait a while to go to court, and I was found guilty, and nothing was happened. Just told me not to write any more letters. And that would have cost, with the police cars and that, would have cost probably about $5,000 or $6,000 of taxpayers' money. And then I got arrested for not failing to appear. The reason I didn't appear is that I was defending a traffic case at Manukau, and the failing to appear was at Papakura. And then I got another court date. This is all relating to the lettuce one. Then I got another court date, and it was on the same day again of my court case, traffic court case. So I went to Papakura, and the judge apologised to me and dismissed it. And then the second one, I got transferred to Henderson Police because I lived at West Auckland, and that got dismissed and said, "Sorry, Mr. King." It was been so stressful, they get the court date, and I defended myself in court in the traffic case, and I won it. I'm not surprised either. And then I went to court to get the protection order off me. Yes. I went there, and my lawyer, I had got a new lawyer because the other lawyer I had left the firm, and she knew nothing about what was going on in the court case, to get the protection order. So she said, "Oh, you plead guilty, well, just don't contest it, and we'll do something in 6 months. I said, okay. So I didn't contest it. So the order was made permanent. And I thought, no, I didn't want that. So for the past 3 years, virtually, I've been trying to get this order taken off me. When we left the courtroom at the Manukau Manukau courts, I saw my ex-partner was up the stairs facing back to me with her friend and another friend. They weren't looking at me. I'm not surprised. And her daughter was down the bottom of the stairs. And I shook my head because I'd done a lot for her and her daughter. I spent thousands on her. And I walked past and shook my head because, she's still the same girl. She's still, got animosity against, and she's still an angry woman now. So I shook my head, and then I went home, and I was there, and next morning there's the police knocking on the door, and I didn't open the door. I went straight up to my mezzanine floor with it's like a lounge bedroom, because most of the time I spent at my ex-partner's place like 4 or 5 days a week, and the other days I used to work late on making things and doing things. I made things for child cancer and things, which I enjoy doing more than probably panel beating. And they came through, and anyway, I got a hatch, and they said 2 police came, and he said, "Oh, we're arresting you." And I said, "What for?" He said, "You made a gun gesture like that as you're going past." I said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Well, you did." I said, "Well, I'm not going to court. I'm not going." I said, "Every time I go get arrested by you lot, I go into the cells and, I get that much stress." I said, "I can't breathe as it is. I can't work. So I'm not going." And so they called for backup. And I think there was like 4 cops, and then he tried to push the door, the trap door, and I wouldn't come out, and he couldn't get up, he couldn't get in. And then there was, I think it was a total of 7 policemen, I think. And anyway, one of the Henderson women police, when I went for the last time I went, because of the failing repair, and they didn't put me in the cells and they arrested me. They let me outside, and then they took me to court, and I didn't have to go to the cells. They put me in the back of the court, which they were decent, they did a decent thing. She said to me, "Malcolm, will you come down? I promise to," and he gives us, and the arresting officer gives us a word that if there's no evidence, they will let you go. And I said, okay. So I came down, and then they put handcuffs on me. But I didn't struggle or nothing. I just, as I said, I respect authority. We got back to the police station, and he said to me, "We're arresting you for doing this gesture." I said, "Well, I didn't do this gesture." I said, if there'd be video evidence on CT scans of the court. I said, if you view it, it'll show you exactly what I did. I said, I had in my right hand, I had my jacket, and I threw it over my shoulder. I said, And if I was doing the jester, I would have had to go like that, and you could see it clearly. But she said I did it in my right hand, but I couldn't have because I had my jacket in my hand. And he said, I'm not wasting my time looking at the CC. I said, no, I give you my word. And I said, I don't break my word that if you view the scan, you'll see exactly what I said. So he went away and viewed it, and he said, oh, there's no conclusive evidence. I said, of course there isn't. I said, he told me exactly what I told him, and I thought I could go home. And then the next minute, he said, oh no, the sergeant said you're getting charged for it. But I said, you gave me your word, if there was no evidence, I could go home. And he said, there's no evidence. So what happened next is diabolical, it's disgusting, and no one should go through. I shouldn't have gone through the rest of it, but this, I got arrested. They took all my clothes off, and they put me in the cell with a vent. And then I went to court, and the judge said, oh, we'll keep him overnight, and we'll discuss the case tomorrow or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so what happened was that they put me back into the cell with a vent in it, and then I got transferred to Mount Eden prison, but they put me in a prison van in a like a box about, I think it's probably about foot by about metre by metre by metre, which is, you can't even twist around in it. And I told them I'm claustrophobic. I said I can't go in there, but he said you've got to go in. So they put me in there, and I don't remember the trip. I know I got stressed, and at the end of when I got to in Mount Eden prison, they opened the door, and I actually fell out, and then they grabbed me and helped me up. I was in the prison van, and he thought I was dead, but he woke me, I woke up, and I was, sort of wondering where I was, and then I realised, what happened, and so I go and get processed in Mount Eden, and I don't know, maybe because I'm claustrophobic or whatever, they put me in a padded cell, and they took all my clothes off again, and there were lights on all the time, and I think it's probably a suicide cell, I don't know. I didn't want to top myself. The only reason I cut my wrist was to get out of the bloody cell. Anyway, the vent was closed, so I banged on the door, and because no one's around, and I banged and banged and banged, and anyway the prison guard came out, and he was, I don't know, Italian or Croatian or something. He said, what you bang on the fucking door for? And I said, yelling at me, and I said, well, just open the bloody vent, didn't they tell you? He said, I don't know, no. And he calmed down, and I sort of calmed down, and I said to him, I'm claustrophobic, and he said, no, they didn't tell me. Anyway, I said, can I have some water, and he gave me some water, and all through the night he come and checked on me, and he kept bringing me water and put it on the edge of the vent, and in the morning he said, I'm sorry we got off a bad foot, and I said, yeah, you know, that was decent of you. Anyway, they lost my clothes, so I had to put some other body clothes on. Yeah, so I'll carry on with that and in the next episode.